Hey guys, we should be live. Ugh. Sorry for the delay. You know, as many of you know, life's been lifing. Um, um, I've got a plumber here right now fixing a sink. So they came like right as the stream should have started. So Chrissy's with them, but if I need to get involved in everything, then you know, there might be some chair piece in this stream. I don't know. So it's just just beware of that. Yeah. So anyway, we're here for 11:29. Excited to see where Elbaf takes us. I got the anime news today, but I saw that Oda had a he had his own Oda message, right? What was that? Because I only saw the Japanese version, so I don't know what the I don't know what the English version is for the of what that is. Shout out to ZMP323. Superin at the beginning said, beginning of this arc has been so much fun. Well, hey, we're gonna see where it continues to go. I know the anime is going on a 6-month hiatus. Was that all Oda was talking about in his separate message? All right. So no worries, Chin. I hope you feel better, man. Shout out to Vern. Lucy B said Fishman Island remake. That's, like, really exciting. And I wonder if it'll also change the tide on how people feel about that arc. Because, you know, I feel like a lot of the negativity that surrounds Davy Backfight is because of the anime. Like, Davy Backfight in the manga, I feel is peak, but you know, some people don't agree with me. The message was about some sort of One Piece app. Okay. Leonardo Martin said no Oda message. There was an Oda message. I saw it on Instagram from the One Piece staff. So there was actually a, you know, the way Oda does it with all the colorful text and all that stuff, but it wasn't translated yet, so I didn't see that. Anyway, I'm here on the first page. We've got, you know, we've got Kurizumi Otama here. Shout out to, you know, the channel's favorite child character in the series. Should have been the apprentice. But, hey, look. Following through with what Luffy wanted. She's got to become a great kunoichi, and then she'll join the crew. Shout out to Lucy B. Said, Fishman Island remake. 21 episodes instead of 56. New music, new sound effects, new artwork. I'm all in. I'm all in. Look, I am not a Fishman Island hater. There are elements of the arc that I don't care for, and I don't think that Hody was a great villain. It was an interesting change and switch up on a villain, but like I've said a lot in streams and things like that, is that Fishman Island is one of those arcs that will really get appreciated when we're in the end game of the story, because so much of it was a setup for the end game. It's like Oda took that break in between the time skip and was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the second half. And he laid all of the beats that he needed to do in Fishman Island. So for them to like go all in and say, hey, all right, we're going to do, you know, this remake also, it's because it may have been like a thing where Oda was pushing for it, saying like, hey, like the people are going to need the reminder for this also, as we're going into the final arc, saga, I mean. Okay. Oh, and interestingly enough,
Another one.
Shinobu is back to being, you know, not Slim Shinobu. So that was just like a temporary thing from Raizo. Okay. Yeah, Kamachio, Yamato in the back. And also, look at Tama hitting those bullseyes. Shout out to her. Okay. Blazer is, appreciate you joining.
Another one.
Another one. Okay, so I'm on page 2 now. Master Sun God, please quell your anger. Look over there, flames through the cracks in the sky. The kingdom is doomed, the world is ending. I want to know if these guys are actually giants or not. You live dolls will pay for what you did to my room, my temple. Okay, so yeah. So the idea that, you know, we've got toys going on here, right, is correct. It's not an illusion, but it is almost a simulation in a way, a live simulation. And it's quite possible that this Yggdrasil that is in here is not the Yggdrasil. So, and to my pets, I mean to my servants. Okay, that's an interesting way to go about it. So, for this character to say, and to my pets, I mean to my servants, implies that maybe this isn't Loki. Okay? And the reason that I say that is because someone who was already, like, has been in nobility their entire life wouldn't second guess the opportunity to say my servants, because that's just like that would be the mental process of the character to be like, okay, yeah, I grew up with all of these people serving me my whole life, so they're my servants. So this is a person that didn't have that did have some sort of affinity for these pets, but is playing a role pretending to be of nobility. All right, so that's where we're going with this. I like the idea of it being Loki, but this line now is making me second guess that. Okay, next page. We got the crew running away. Why is that guy so freaky? God, he looks more like a demon. Who's saying that? Zoro? The town. Look out for the slope. So this is all made out of blocks, huh? Jump, cat. Okay. So these people down there are normal people. They're normal-sized people, because now we're getting the perspective here of the cat jumping over them. Hey, if he put in all the work to build this, we gotta split without busting it up. Well, I appreciate that idea. You know, Luffy, you know, it takes a lot of time to set up, like, you know, neat dioramas and stuff. So good job thinking of that. All right. What did I just say, Cat? Okay. Wait, is Cat? Why are you helping them? All right, that's the next page then. Okay, so this is a really good perspective double page spread here. Hitching a ride on this cat took us to the end of the world in no time. No, it keeps going and going. They're going to hit another mirror, aren't they? I told you, Luffy, just look at the schematics for this. Toss? Oh, okay. That's good. That's a good moment for Nami. Don't worry, I memorized it. Look over there, Luffy. You could see the mirror door from earlier. Oh, okay. You're right. Oh, and on second look, the clouds are just cotton fluff hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Next page. Well, the other side of the double page spread. It might look huge to us, but to a giant, it's just a regular old room. Exactly. Because all the walls are mirrors, no wonder the scenery seems to go on forever. So we'll reach the end in no time. We just have to keep going straight through. Okay, literally calling it the world tree in this thing here. Okay, so we got mirrors, town, forest, spring. I always love Oda's like little chibi drawings here. Already halfway across the so-called kingdom. It really looks like a little diorama. I love this. I do hope that we get something that isn't the Straw Hats in this chapter. Like, I'm loving all of this, but I do want to go somewhere else in this one to just catch up with some other people. Okay, we're already halfway across the so-called kingdom. Next page. I see. So you've seen the schematics, and now imagine you've figured out this world, have you? So the thing's a net? Yet this was originally a holding cell for giants. Is it just me? Is he talking a bit like a samurai? Okay, so this was something that we talked about last week. I think it was Saeed who brought up that he was saying Sesha. It was built to prevent giants from escaping. It matters not if you reach the wall, for you will never break through it. There is only a dead end. This man really caught them. Okay. Come on, cat, you're supposed to dodge that. What happened to Lord Iscat? Who's that riding on him? Just keep moving. Hey, we got some heat on feet. Heat on feet spotted. Alright, they easily broke through the net. Good. If our guys got low diffed by a net in the final saga, there'd be a problem. Yeah. They broke through the metal wire? Yeah. No matter the cruel and violent ear god awaits them ahead. Oh, mighty sun god. We have some bad news about the ear god. Wow, they're showing us the bones of the ear god. That's wild. It was mysteriously burned to death earlier today. The sight was heartbreaking and more than a little ominous. Just before bizarre cracks appeared in the sky. It's an accursed day. Next page. They defeated it. Impossible. That was a vicious carnivorous rabbit. My glut bunny? We found it like that. Okay. Unique laugh spotted. Diffu, 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 diffu. That's going to be hard for a voice actor to nail down. This, too, is how the world works. A story without a script unfolding in my little world garden. Little garden. Little walled garden. I underestimated them. They are most exciting after all. Diffu-fu. Now the world I created has developed its own evil and its own heroes. History is being written before my eyes. This is the charm of my little live dolls. The mini world that belongs only to me. Okay, we got ourselves a megalomaniac. That's good. It always makes for good writing. Okay. This might be our only chance. The way out is open to us. Let's flee while we can. Tell all the others. What's he laughing about? Now dance and struggle in my palm. Hajradin may accept you, but I do not. So what is your move? Why is he talking about Hajradin? I mean, there were people that were suspecting that this was Road, or somebody from Hajradin's crew. So that... What a wild left field guess for people to make if it was actually to be true. Alright, special attack Green Star. Usopp's deciding to do something. Skull Blast Grass. No good. It only broke the mirror. That wall's really tough. Okay, I got this one. So Luffy's gonna try. Yes, this pleases me. Helpless dolls fighting back against fate. Best story ever. Part of the world is despair and hopelessness, and part of history is defeat and disappointment. Is he gonna take his mask off? No. Okay. Next page. The tragic folly of the weak, yet so brave. A real tear. This guy is monologuing like crazy. I'm so glad to have you in my collection. Ultra rare Luffy, ultra rare Zoro, ultra rare Nami, ultra rare Usopp. He's treating them like cards. He's got the holographic collection. I really want, like, after he's doing all this monologuing, the only answer is that Luffy breaks through the wall that that was intended to be a giant's cage, just to like gas up Luffy. Wait, how does he know who we are? Ultra rare Sanji, ultra rare Chopper. What does he mean ultra rare? Time to bust open a hole. Mini Gear 4th. Okay. Hey Usopp, natural disasters aren't anyone's fault, right? I mean, sure, earthquakes, floods, lightning, you can't blame those on anyone. Well, I think I've been through enough terror for one day. I'm sick of this guy. I get it. We don't want to anger the giants. What is this Sanji face? Okay. I know you feel, Nami. I feel that same rage towards this jerk. Can't get the thought out of my mind of him changing your clothes. Oh god. I won't rest until I crush him to bits with my foot. You mustn't do that, Sanji. I wouldn't worry, though. He'll get his divine retribution. Who's saying that? It is Road? William, what have you brought me this time? Wait, this is the Straw Hat crew. The giant pirates were sailing to escort them back. Don't they realize what happened? They seem very deep asleep. Did they pass through the sleeping mists on the route to Egghead? You insane? Not at all. When I heard that Hajradin had cast aside his dignity and become his henchman, I was furious. Does that make me, as a member of the New Giants Pirates, a henchman too? An almighty warrior of Elbaf subservient to some tiny human? Has he no pride? Just look at this tiny, frail figure. But Nami here, she's my Oshi. Oops. Oh god, this guy needs to get his skull rocked. I need you to go back to sleep, and when you wake up again, you'll simply go missing to the rest of the world. Instead, be stuck here, in here with me, struggling to get free. I will not serve you, you will serve me. Alright. First of all, like, we talked about this maybe being Road last week, and I'm not going to claim this as a W. I'm saying that the people in the chat that said it, because I was against it. I was like, I don't think this is Road. Like, yeah, the same shoes and all that stuff, but it's like, it's funny how the shoes, like, how hard we went trying to figure out the shoes in the other, like, when the Blackbeard Pirates went to Whole Cake and all of that. That was crazy. And a lot of us were wrong. Or at least, I think... Did we get one of them, but not the other? Something like that. Either way. People got this one, which is crazy. Okay, next page. Are you ready, Zeus? I'm positively crackling. Nami. What is that? I never made that. Take it away. Lightning blast. Good. 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 This guy's getting rocked. And it's good that it's Nami also. You know, I mean, after all of the... It's good that Oda's actually letting this be Nami. Because this man did assault her. Like, we're being, you know, it's... That happened. So, she deserves this. What? The sun god. Hate to leave, but we gotta go. So long, Kingdom of Blocks. Gum. Side at last. Take that, giant perv. Please let it be Elbaf outside. Okay, Kong gun. We're outside. Would have been nice to end on whatever is outside, though. But I do really enjoy this side journey. So it's like, what we should see next is like the real Yggdrasil, and that should be like way more impressive. But this is good. Luffy, you know, he did exactly what I wanted him to do. He broke through the wall. He proved his strength. We had a nice little side journey in the Kingdom of Blocks in a different realm. You know, it felt like we went to a different island for a couple of chapters. This whole beginning has just been a really fun little misdirect. But now I'm also wondering if there's still going to be another sun god impersonator that is more dangerous than Road. Because it's like, where would Road have gotten the idea to do this unless... something like that. But I mean, I was right at the beginning of the chapter when I said, okay, this isn't Loki now, because this guy is like stumbling over his words. So I'm still going to say that I think that there's going to be another person that thinks that that Loki could still consider himself the sun god or something, or somebody else will. And then Road was just kind of like the prototype for that idea, like this guy who isn't of nobility at all, but is pretending to be in his own little world, right? Which goes into the ideas of classism and class structure that I think will have to get explored in this saga anyway. Because Oda always tries to do that, and I talked about that in the big Elbaf video. But it's like, for Road to want to do all of this, he needs to have been oppressed. Because this is the type of mania and all of that stuff that is just like built from oppression. You would only create this small little world where you feel where you're completely in control if in your outside life you are completely out of control. You have zero control. So somebody else is actually there has to be some sort of iron fist ruler of this island that may also be pretending to be the sun god, and then in his own little world, Road is trying to be that person because it's the only place where he can. Maybe, you know, that's my headspace. That's where I'm thinking right now, and probably not too far off. Hyridin's name is pronounced Hyridin. The Norse names have the letter J in them, are pronounced with a Y or an I sound. BK said check 898 chapter title and cover. Oda being cheeky with it. Alright, let me see. 898. I will return, and then you see Road. Navigator Road of the New Giant Pirates. Yeah. I mean, that could have been on the same, you know, that this could have been the one that Gerd was on, and it's like, well, yeah, they're going to return too, because Hyridin is part of the Grand Fleet. But I was looking for some sort of clue here, and there's really nothing, so... See, Cone Killer Confusor, member for 23 months. The sleeping gas had to be inspired by Netflix OP. Maybe. Yeah, I know that was, there's only so many ways that you can, like, kind of dispatch Luffy for a little bit. So, and that was what they were able to do. Shout out to everybody in chat. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. I see Barry, Chin, Fable. What's up? We're gonna be in real Elbaf now. We are in Elbaf, but we're gonna see the real Elbaf next week, unless it's break. Lucy B said Tekking guessed that. People guess nothing. So the road thing was a Tekking theory. Is that what you're saying? Because then, you know, we'll give Tekking his flowers. Jody List said I mentioned it to you last week, Randy. Yeah, I knew someone did. Fable said one of my predictions for Elbaf was that they'd have to travel via animals due to the size of the island. Well, first of all, I love that because it's like it takes us back to Alabasta. But, you know, one of the things that I wanted was that we would see Chopper
loyal.
actually utilizing his ability to communicate with animals again, like in Alabasta, and hasn't really been used since, you know? A little bit with the Southbird, and, I don't know how much else we really saw that. Like, it's kind of one of those, like, cool things that Chopper can do that Oda kind of forgot about. But I think it's going to come back in a big way this arc. Shout out to Dawn Knight 1993. Member for 21 months. Savage. W. Roger Laugh. Nakama. No break. Good. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go into IKEA land next. Red Hood 52, member for 21 months, said, much love, Randy. Would you rather Loki be an enemy? I'm iffy on it. Because I think the enemy of Elbaf should be someone that's already been established. I think in my ideal scenario is Loki would be a threat that Usopp has to handle, like, on his own. Like, I think Loki should be an annoyance. He should be someone very clever and, like, kind of tricky to combat, that, knowing Oda, will, like, start off antagonistic, but ultimately, like, do something that helps us in the end. But being a trickster, I really want Usopp to, like, have his own sort of solo arc dealing with Loki and being able to see through whatever lies he's telling the people. Unless Oda goes, you know, a completely opposite direction and makes Loki, like, an antithesis to all of the mythologies. So then Loki isn't a liar at all. He isn't a mischief maker. He isn't, you know, maybe he's a coward like Usopp or something, and Usopp's arc is trying to teach him bravery, and in the course of that learns bravery for himself. But I would actually rather that, you know,
Savage.
We see Luffy was learning everything about becoming... He needs more to learn. Luffy was being told the title Sun God and Nika, like, he was hearing these phrases in Egghead. During Elbaf, he needs to understand what that means. Bonnie was able to go Nika. Road pretended to be the Sun God, but was not able to achieve a Sun God form like Luffy and Bonnie can. But I would like it if Loki can, even if it is also an illusion. Ethan Barron, Venus Juro called what Bonnie did an imitation, but I don't think it's an imitation. But I want whatever Loki does, if he is pretending to be the Sun God, to be an imitation that Usopp will be able to call out. And potentially, maybe even achieve his own level of, like, Nika and everything, and that's how he beats him. Because there's so many, like, there's so much thematic stuff that goes into all of that would really just, like, full circle Usopp's character for the end of the story. And there's a lot that was set up in Egghead for these things to happen. Worldstonk said, since Egghead is burned down, will York move the power plant to Uranus? Will Garling use Uranus and the Gods' Knights to invade Elbaf through the sky? I mean, I'm totally fine with the Holy Knights and Garling and even the other Gorosei getting involved in everything with Egghead because, Elbaf. Because then we'll really have, like, a Ragnarok situation. And we'll have these, you know, all of these giants fighting giant beasts and stuff. It feels like it's really primed for that. Especially if Luffy, you know, learns more about the Joy Boy hockey, and then by the end of the arc is able to, like, do that himself so that he can send the Gorosei back to the Holy Land on his own or something. Or have such crazy hockey that it actually defeats them or something. I don't know. Kip said Loki's gonna have a super goofy design. I feel like, oh, for sure. For sure. He's a Wapple, like, foxy, Orochi, like, style character for sure. And even his silhouette implies that that's the case. Guardian Trees said Luffy used Gear 4 in base, nor did Gear 5 tire him out. Yeah, so we talked about this when everybody thought that this was like some sort of weird illusion, and they were like, well, he didn't actually go Gear 4th, and he used a Gear 4th attack. And I was completely against all of this being an illusion and everything. I just said, like, what Oda is doing is he's saying that Luffy is leveled up. And he did this when the post-time skip started. Because Luffy was using Gear 3rd, and he wasn't, like, shrinking, and he was... you know, it's like... he sets up these limitations for Luffy, and then he gets rid of them, but replaces them with something else. So it's like, when we were introduced to Gear 4th in Dressrosa, there was, like, you know, he needed this, like, 10-minute hockey rest period and all that, and that even became a Wano plotline. Then he gets Gear 5, and then now he turns into an old man, and that's his current thing. So it's like, the shrinking, the 10 minutes, the old man, like, these are all make Luffy more accessible, you know, not make him Superman, and, you know, he's got to have some sort of kryptonite involved in everything. So if Luffy has this problem now where he turns into an old man, then he shouldn't have the 10-minute hockey thing with Gear 4th. So he now can access everything that he needs to do in Gear 4th in base form, because he has Gear 5. So, like, when he would normally go into Gear 4th to access a new level of power, he's going to go into Gear 5. So that's all it is. And since he can manifest and sort of, like, manipulate anything anyway, and he's achieved Gear 5, he doesn't have to do that goofy form anymore. So I don't know if we'll ever see Gear 4th Luffy again. We don't necessarily need to. So... yeah, 1127 was not an error. Everything that, all of that stuff where everybody was like, oh, the sword became an axe and all this stuff, it was just... it's just Oda and his team just doing things really fast. I knew it. It was like... but, you know, we've been trained as One Piece fans to look at every detail. So... what's going on in chat, guys? Let's all play nice. GM by Blood. How do you think we develop Luffy's awareness of the responsibility of the Sun God and Joy Boy while maintaining his carefree spirit? It doesn't matter, because Luffy can be told that he's the Sun God and that he has all of this responsibility, and Luffy's just going to say, I don't care, because I have my own dreams and everything that I need to do. But Luffy achieving those dreams will somehow align with whatever the goal is of the Sun God and Joy Boy anyway. So it's going to be a matter of convenience, and it's all going to line up, even though Luffy doesn't necessarily adhere to the principles of all that, because like Nika and everything, like they're viewed as like this hero, this grand hero. Luffy is not a hero. He does not think of himself as a hero, and that will only come more to light as we watch this remastered version of Fishman Island, because he, in no uncertain terms, like explicitly states that like it is not for me to decide if I'm a friend or foe, or if I'm a hero. That's for you to decide. I'm just living my life. That's Luffy's attitude. So he will always maintain a carefree spirit. And he'll understand the stakes of events, but only to the certain point of how it affects him and the people that he cares about. But generally speaking, when he does focus on his friends and the people that he cares about, it always affects everybody else on the island. So Growth Socks, super appreciated, said, the name of the ancient kingdom is based on the Viking kingdom of York, hinted in Chapter 10 SBS map. The name was intercut with the message, Chapter 1118, page 45. Okay, so this is... Chapter 10 SBS map. In Volume 1? Oh no, Volume 2. My Volume 2 is inside the box set, so I can't get that to look at that, but that I guess the wiki would probably have that, right? There is no wiki for an SBS in Volume 2. Someone's just going to have to send me that. I am interested in seeing whatever that is. Red Hood 52, Superden said, would be crazy subversion if Loki is actually a pretty boy. He's actually super handsome, but isn't respected by the giants because he isn't strong. Yeah, I mean, I did talk about that subversion as well. And I said I brought up that subversion in the context of Lola, because obviously Lola is drawn in Oda's style, saying that she is not pretty. But hey, shout out to Capone and Gotti for loving the twins. Now, the marriage between Lola and Loki didn't happen because Loki was not Lola's type. But Gotti was. So, if Loki was a pretty boy, because Gotti's a little rough. He's a little rough. Nothing wrong with that. He's a little rough. But if he's not, he has to be the opposite of whatever Loki is. So there is an opportunity that, you know, he's pretty boy. But it also could be like one of those funny things where he's still like weirdly proportioned and his face is weird, but like he has a pretty boy face or like a chiseled chin or like something like that. Like he's got like these like ridiculous features, but his proportions are out of whack. Because the silhouette, not that we can always judge by silhouettes, but yeah. Neil Johnson says, Odin going to be the infamous guy with an eye patch Oda said would be at the end of One Piece. I go into a lot of Odin and what I believe will be the answer to the eye patch in my big Elbaf mega theory, which still has a which YouTube has criminally underappreciated based on all of the time and effort that I've put into that one. So rather than talk about everything that was in that video, I would just rather have people go and watch that video, because that was weeks, if not months of work, and not a lot of people. It didn't get pushed, so. Fable said, based on Thriller Bark, I'm not sure looks are Lola's priority. Yeah, which is why it's actually not a bad theory that Loki is handsome. But his silhouette implies that he's not. But the story implies that he could be. It's got to be the opposite of what Lola wants. So it's like, Lola wants rough, gaudy, Absalom. Like, these are her type. Whatever Loki is, that's not the type. Uzi B said, Liam dissected and praised your Luffy lineage video, by the way. Yeah, I did hear about that. It seemed to me like he just, basically remade, the first 10 minutes of the video. But, hey, it got the theory out there. It didn't bring more views to the other video, but it got the idea out there. So. This is it. When we gonna run some Sparking Zero Cap? Trying to see what your Yamcha hitting for. Well, that's my main. That's my guy. He's sitting right here. Wolfang Fist Boys. I was pretty beastly with him in Fighters. That was a lot of fun. I just saw a video today from Sparking Zero where you can prevent Yamcha from dying during the Saiyan battle. I don't know like where that goes or how it impacts the story or anything, but that's fun. That's fun. I don't have Sparking Zero yet, and I don't know when I'm gonna get it. Life is lifing, so I gotta. I think it's gonna be a while before I get it, and then by the time I get it, it's just gonna be like played out, I guess, or not as hyped. But eventually, I'll play it. I'm excited about it. Fable said, no Yamcha disrespect in the chat. That boy got one of the best impact panels in all of anime. You know. Hey, look. You know, people always do those things where it's like, you know, he wasn't the main character, but he stole the whole series, right? My answer to that is Yamcha. Because what meme do you see more than Yamcha dying? Like that is so crazy. Or just like the amount of disrespect that my favorite character from that series gets is like if you, I feel like if you ask just a random Dragon Ball fan, Dragon Ball Z fan, to rattle off like 5 things about Dragon Ball, like one of those 5 things is gonna be like Yamcha something. Like Yamcha died, Yamcha's weak, like you know, let's say Goku going Super Saiyan, you know, from Krillin dying, like this, the Cell games, whatever. Yamcha's like, it's gonna be in that top 5 because you can't get it out of your lexicon. Fable said Yamcha haters, the hardest working people on planet Earth. I know, man. I've been in like such a minority category, like my entire like anime watching career. I've said this in the chat like probably years ago or whatever, but my first username on a forum was Yamcha 1031. Like that's how I rode for this man. I am a ride or die Yamcha stan. So catch up on the chat here. Let's see. Jody List said the map of the super chat is at the end of chapter 7, volume 1, in Japanese volumes. Oh, well, I have the English one. So, Buggy Shanks map, dagger, Shonen Jump icon, famous map. I've probably seen it. I don't know if anybody knows what it's talking about. You have to drop it in the general of the Discord. I'll be able to look at it. Lucy B said, could Loki be just too young for Lola, maybe? Well, here's the thing, is that Loki is only 5.5, like 5 to 6 years younger than Big Mom. So Loki, it's either Big Mom is 63 or Loki is 63. I can't remember. 63 is just the number in my mind. But he's in his 60s, and that's young for a giant, right? But that doesn't mean that Loki could be a child. And this would be a theory if we didn't know about Dorian Broggie. Because we know that the giants live for 300 years, so if I didn't know that Dorian Broggie went to Little Garden when they were 30 years old, I'd be saying maybe he was a child. But we know that that definitively is not the case, because we saw the flashback with Dorian Broggie, and at 30 human years old, they were already looking like human 20, 30-year-olds. So Loki should realistically look no different in age than Hyrudin, Road, Goldberg, and in fact, Road and Goldberg were born at the same time as Loki. Literally, if you go back to the Mother Carmel flashback, they talk about how they're celebrating the birth of Prince Loki and also Goldberg and Road. So they were all born like at the same time, same month. That's cool, Chin, that you met him. Brennan King said, by the way, in Japanese, Road addresses them with taso suffix, not ultra rare. Taso is an old samurai suffix that is used now by otaku to denote fictional characters they like. It's weeb speak. Huh. But doesn't that contradict everything that he was saying about being upset about how Hyrudin, like, bent the knee to Luffy? Because for him to say Tasso, like, implies a sense of reverence that, like, he's really interested in, like that he's, like, a fan of them. But what we're seeing in that flashback is that he actually, like, despises them in a way. Because it ruined the dynamic of his own pirate crew. So he's putting them in this game and kind of playing Jigsaw and Saw and all this stuff. And, like, now you're just going to live here. You wanted my guy to bend the knee to you? Like, well, now I've put you in this box you can't get out of. Ha ha ha, na 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 na. So I like the idea of ultra rare because then it shows, like, you know, whether it's appropriate or not. I think that was actually a good translation from Viz because it implies that, like, he's a collector and he acknowledges that what he has is valuable. Mm-hmm. Catching up here. He's a Lego weeb, not a straw hat weeb like Bartolomeo, yeah. Yeah, he's interested but doesn't want to serve them. Um, They said, "Oh, what if Loki has a beefed up version of Sugar's fruit, and the last few chapters were foreshadowing?" I'm thinking like a puppet fruit user that turns people into dolls or something. Maybe I want him to have some sort of like beefed up version of like Kinemon and like Baby Five's fruit or something. Like I want him to be able to create things. I think his power needs to be very close to Big Mom's in a way, and Luffy's. Like it has to, like the way that Luffy can just create goggles out of thin air. I think that for my own headcanon, for Loki to trick everybody into believing that he's the sun god and control Elbaf, he's going to need an ability to manifest and create things, because the people of Elbaf already saw Mother Carmel like manifest things, create Pandora, create all this, and say that this is from the sun god. So Loki needs to be able to do the same thing in my mind, unless I'm completely off base about what his character is going to be. But so he just needs to be able to manifest things, but in a way that he can't actually utilize them. Because I don't want Loki to be physically strong because of whatever power he has, or he has someone in his, immediate circle that is able to create things. Brandon Arnold said, "Not sure how many would take advantage of it, but it'd be super cool if there was a writers section in the Discord. We could have little workshops. It'd be great for young writers." That's cool. I'm not against that. I mean, we have the creativity zone in the Discord, but like, I mean, a separate area just for writing. Yeah, why not? We can create that. We haven't added a new channel in there in a while. Blazers said, people have theories that Elbaf might have runes, like the way Skypiea introduced dials. Well, I had a whole section on runes in my big Elbaf theory, so I am one of those people who has theories about runes. And in fact, I think that the runes are emblematic of poneglyphs also, because that's kind of what they are, and I think that Oda creating the poneglyphs is based on his knowledge of runes. Fable said that Elbaf video should have been 100k plus, man. YouTube tripping. I know. I thought it would have hit like Luffy's lineage, but it did not. I have not seen the fan letter to the Straw Hat Crew trailer. I am not sure about I don't really know anything about it. Let's see. Lucy B said, when Randy's Elbaf video came out, I got a lot of video recommendations about Norse mythologies from French TV channels, German documentaries and such. YouTube algorithm is weird. Yeah. I guess maybe because it, like, YouTube read the script and I was like, saying things like Loki, Thor, Odin, and probably like sent the video into people that watch like Norse mythology stuff and not One Piece stuff. So I just burnt myself. Let's see. Okay. Shout out to everybody in here. Let's get these likes up, guys. Take another look at the chapter here. Once again, guys, I would... I'd love to, but I don't think there's going to be a video on this chapter either. You know, I'll do some sort of like massive video or something going through my thoughts of like the past few chapters when I'm in a better headspace to devote time to something like that, and I'm not there yet. So streams are fine because it's just all streams of consciousness and just talking things out, but shooting a video, editing a video, all the time that has to go through all that stuff, and I've got so many things going on right now. I don't know when the next actual dedicated VOD's gonna be, but you know, we'll still do the chapter streams because it's easy. It's easy. Really love the cover story update on Tama. Oda perfectly foreshadowed that this was not Loki on the first page of this chapter and it really, again, it was this line, "And to my pets, I mean my servants." That signified to me immediately that this was not someone that has been of nobility their entire life, but someone feigning nobility. So that was a good dialogue choice from Oda. Love all the perspective shots. I'm also just imagining Road like building all of this himself, taking the blocks, building everything, and you know, and really creating this scenario so that he can live out his dream of having live dolls. And I would also say that legitimately, I think that this is one of the best openings to an arc ever. Maybe top 5. Like, it's a lot of fun. It has that sense of adventure. You know you're already getting those pre-time skip vibes, everything. Like, I'm very appreciative to Oda for delivering on all of this. Broke through the net. Rabbit God stuff was crazy. I'm looking at the flashback in particular right now just to see everything here. Oda will probably find some way to redeem Road, but I don't know. I'd rather see him like continue being some sort of dude that is like messing things up for them. It's just a fun chapter. It's a fun series of chapters. Okay, catching up on the chat here. Do I think they're in Elbaf or in the new giant pirate ship? I think they're on Elbaf. I think the flashback implied that Mugen the Raven went and scooped them up from the giant warrior pirate ship and then brought them to Rhodes. Let's see. Troyland Ford said, "Yo, what's up, Randy? Absolute Batman is great. I recommend it." You know, I saw some stuff for Absolute Batman, and I thought it was like a fan thing or something fake. Like, is it a real thing? Saeed Abdo said, "Oh, by the way, the live and live dolls is from Living, not live like a show. It works either way. Just letting you know." Saeed, you know, you keep the facts coming, man. I always appreciate it. World Teller said, "I wonder if Rhodes' God complex is inferiority, insecurity, or learned behavior." I don't think that it's a learned behavior. I talked about this earlier, but I believe that there will be some sort of Iron Fist ruler of Elbaf, and that there will be like an extreme oppression that is elevating some giants over other giants. So if you live in the lower area where like Dory Brogy, Hyrudan Road, Goldberg, all of those guys are from, you're not great in their mind, right? So you were oppressed. And then you'll have the lofty people in the castles like Loki and, you know, if Odin exists and is an Avoid Century character, Thor, Tyr, like the Aesir gods will be characters that have actual superiority complexes. And from that perspective, this could be a learned behavior from seeing them, but more so a desire to be them, to achieve what they have, which is something he wasn't born with, so he created it. So there'll be Oda will create some sort of scenario to attempt to make us sympathize with this character. Obviously, there's no sympathy for assaulters, but I think we'll get an understanding for why he would have created this world where he is God. Brandon King said, "What are my favorite arc openers?" And Brandon said, "Jaya with the falling ship, that's a great one. Water 7 with the sea train, that's an interesting one. Whole Cake Island with the Candy World. Wano with the Luffy Zoro nostalgia." Wano definitely had a really, really strong start. taking a moment to think about all this. I really like the opening to Dressrosa. Land of Toys, all this stuff. And it was also because, and like, Dressrosa sticks in my mind as something that like I really like the beginning of, because it was the first time post time skip that felt like a little bit pre time skip, because we were on a weird island, and we had just come from being so isolated in the cold factory world of Punk Hazard that Dressrosa really stands out in my mind as like fresh and inviting. I love the opening to Drum with the bow and everything. Like I feel like that Drum had a really strong opening. Alabasta's great with seeing Crocodile take out the piggy pirates and meeting Ace, and you know, the little fight between Smoker and Ace that definitely should have been longer. Impelled Down will certainly always, I think, is a top 5 opening to an arc, because it was so... You didn't know where the story was going to go. I think I would put Archipelago in my top 5, and I think that the Archipelago is very reminiscent of all of this, because this whole situation with Road is actually very, now that I'm thinking about it, is very like Duval, right? Like that whole little side story with Duval and the Flying Fish Riders. That's what this is. Like, we're not even really on the island yet. We're in the arc, but we're not on the island yet like we were during the Archipelago. So we could kind of like really actually attest all of this to being like the post-time skip Duval situation, and even here we have a character that is masked. So now that I'm thinking about it, I think that there's a lot of like parallels that can actually be made to like that area. I don't know if anybody's talking about that yet, but I think that that's like our strongest, I guess, reflection of all of this. Yeah. So I would definitely put like some of my favorite starts to an arc, like definitely Archipelago, Dressrosa, Drum, now this, and Alabasta. Skypea was interesting, obviously, like, you know, a whole new situation, not really understanding what's going on. Obviously the falling ship of Jaya, you know, I mean, that's an amazing strong start to an arc. I don't know if it's like my favorite start to an arc, but I do love Jaya. I'll probably stick with the 5 that I said for now, unless I'm forgetting something. Probably am. There's probably something else. Oh, I mentioned Impelled Down. I don't think I said Impelled Down in that 5, but Impelled Down. I don't know. Big sidebar, but, you know, we found some fun parallels. Kip/Seaway said, hot take, Usopp is wasted potential since Dressrosa. It's not a hot take. I think there's a lot of characters that you could say that for. You know, you can get even hotter and say that, you know, Robin is wasted potential since Enies Lobby. You know, it's tough. It's tough to juggle that many characters. But Oda does it better than most other mangaka, so. Brandon King said, I lost it. Did I ever get that Lego Batman the animated series diorama? It's cool, but Lego is super expensive. I did not. I think what I'd like to do is I have to finish going through all of my old stuff at my mom's, but when I was a kid, I had all of the like Batman the Animated Series figures, and if I can find all of them and they're still in good shape, then maybe I'd make a diorama with those. That's definitely like a seminal part of my upbringing and everything that would make sense for me to have a shelf for. Does Mars play with Legos? He has like the bigger Duplo ones. He's getting into Legos. I'm really I'm kind of like scared to get Legos just because it's like the hassle of having to pick them up. These are like the stupid things you think of when you're a dad. It's just like I've avoided buying my son Legos because I don't want to pick them up. So instead I get him like figures and stuff, and he's got I've just been avoiding too many things with a bunch of pieces because it impacts like your own life. Every night having to pick up all this stuff. He's got some little Legos, but not much. But Chrissy wants to get him a whole like Lego thing for Christmas, so it's gonna happen anyway. Lucy B said, "Hot take: I like the opening of Zoe. Zoe's a good one. It's interesting. Zoe was different. It was the first time that we like got to an island and everything had already happened. Most of the time we get there just as the thing is happening and that we're able to stop it. But the big event of Zoe happened while they were on Dressrosa. So, there was like an exploratory element to Zoe where like I wouldn't put Zoe in my top 5, but if I thought more about it, it would probably make my top 10 just because it flipped things." Froyline said, "Yes, DC starting over from scratch. Absolute Batman's the opening series with the new continuity. Anyways, I'm feeling a lot of oversaturation with manga recently, so trying comics for a change." Yeah, that's cool. I love Batman. So at some point I'd like to give it a shot. Catch you later, Fable. We're not going to be going much longer. Ugh. Make Batman analysis videos. that would need its own separate channel and have to find its own audience and all this other stuff. I mean, like, I tried doing... I did, like... You know, I wanted to make this channel variety, and I think I did, like... I tried 2 or 3 Batman videos, you know, like trying to cover the movies and news and stuff like that, and I don't know, they got like anywhere from 100 to 400 views with, you know, probably at that time 20,000 subscribers, so it was like, okay, this is not the base for this. Am I gonna watch Joker 2? I am. One second here, guys. All right. All right. So I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I got plumbers working on a sink. So Chrissy just messaged me saying that I gotta help handle some stuff with all of that. So I'm gonna wrap things up here, guys. Jacob said, to be honest, as soon as I saw Joker 2 was a musical, I knew it was gonna be mid and terrible. Here's the thing. Joker is a movie that never needed a sequel and never should have gotten a sequel, because Todd Phillips said everything he wanted to say in the first one, which was he just wanted to remake Taxi Driver. And no disrespect to him, you know, I went to a screening. It was one of the first screenings that I went to, or one of the first few that I went to after joining the Writers Guild, and saw Joker. I didn't mind it, but then I heard Todd like speak about everything with the movie, and it made me like it a little bit less because I understood where he was coming from, and it really seemed like, you know, he had no interest in making a movie about Joker. He had an interest about making a movie about a character named Arthur Fleck, and the only way that he got Warner Brothers to buy that movie or that idea was to call him Joker. So it wasn't supposed to be Joker at all. And it's like, that's why when you watch the movie and it's like, it's just like little drips and drabs of like, yeah, they're in Gotham and Thomas Wayne is a character, and there's Arkham Asylum, but there's nothing else really there because he didn't care about comics. He didn't want to make a comic book movie. So he was just a fan of Scorsese movies, and he wanted to do something like that after coming off of the Hangover movies. That was my that was my interpretation of everything that I got out of him speaking about the movie. How on track I am or anything, I don't know. That was my interpretation of what I got from what he was saying. So the movie went on to gross $1 billion on 70 million. So it's a no-brainer for Warner Brothers to say, well, this was our most successful movie of all time, one of our most successful movies of all time. Let's make a sequel. And from that perspective, it really should have been from a different lens. It shouldn't have been a jukebox musical where you're, you know, if you're going to do a musical, like get people that work on musicals, like create, you know, original numbers, like really take it there. But I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I know that like he didn't make the film for fans of DC Comics, fans of the character, fans of all of that. So, that's that. But I'm still gonna watch it. I'm in no rush. Normally I would be in the case of a Batman project, but I know that there wasn't a heart behind it to be a Batman project or a Batman adjacent project. So I'm just very excited for whatever James Gunn is doing. The Lantern news is really exciting. Everything with Superman is exciting. I want to find out who they're going to cast as Batman in the Brave and Bold. I want them to do a lot of, Bat family stuff, because I like the Bat family. I'm a big Robin fan. I've always been a big fan of Robin. That's my favorite superhero of all time. And no one's ever done Robin correctly, I feel. So that's the thing. But anyway, I do have to handle all of this plumbing stuff. But we'll be able to talk about who do I want to be Batman in the James Gunn movies. Blazer is once Jensen Ackles. I like Alan Ritchson as a pick. I wouldn't be mad about Glenn Powell. I think Jensen is out, especially since James Gunn also said he's not going for... He's going to be looking for someone in their 30s probably. Jensen's in his 40s now. So... but we'll see. And I've seen a little bit of Penguin, and I like that. But I need the fantastical element of Batman. I need the world's greatest detective. I need a Batman that is the smartest man in the world, but also lives in a world where there are gods and demons and people with magical abilities and all this stuff. So, while Matt Reeves' Batman is a really good movie, it's still not Batman for me. It's not embracing the Clayface, the Zatanna, the Mr. Freeze, the Poison Ivy that's actually a metahuman. It's you have to accept all of it. You can't just say, okay, we're just going to redo Two-Face and Joker and Riddler and all these characters that are very human all the time. It's what's left? You can do Mad Hatter, but then you probably have to deal with Disney, Firefly, but they fumbled that with Batgirl. I gotta go. Sorry, guys. I really could continue to you guys got me on a tangent that I love talking about, but I gotta go. This chapter was great. Thank you, everybody. Also, thank you, everybody, for the really, really kind comments on the last stream, and it's appreciated, and I hope to get back to making content at some point, but it's probably gonna be a little bit. So it's just what it is, and so thanks, guys. Which Robin? I love them all. Tim Drake is my favorite. Then Dick Grayson. I think Jason Todd is, there's so much good about all of it. But all right, later, guys.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.